Hey everybody, it's Mark from the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, coming to you with another video. Now, we record our podcast every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, bringing you all your DFFOO news and talk. But you may have noticed we did not have a video on the 1st of September. We had some scheduling conflicts between both of us, so we could not make it. There have been other videos, including this one, which we'll get to in a second. So you can check out my tier list. You can check out my Luna Freya pulls. If you are a member for $1, only 99 cents actually, you can check out my pull plans for this coming month. Do consider liking, subbing, supporting our community. We really do appreciate all of you. So instead of a podcast, I wanted to do a little bit on this Dare to Defy news that we got. We'll probably talk a little bit more about it on the show, get Mino's perspective on it. I really wanted to respond to it before we get together and we can start talking more about content and characters this month. So we learned from the Squex community stream, there's no ticket challenges this month, those extra challenges for premium Moogle Pass holders to do the Shinryu without a friend, etc. with the featured character, and there is no Dare to Defy. Doesn't mean there's not going to come back in the future. It's just this month, those things are not happening. They happened last month, not this month. So I want to offer my top 5 reasons that Squex should bring back Dare to Defy. My top 5 reasons why Squex should bring back Dare to Defy. I'll also talk about 5 arguments against bringing it back a little bit later in the video. So hold on to your seats. Let me know what you think below. Always realize this is a public space. If you make a fool of yourself, you might make a fool of yourself. But I do appreciate your input, and join our Discord. You can talk more about it there as well. Just be respectful, be a good person, and you're welcome to be part of that community. So, top 5 reasons that Squex should bring back Dare to Defy. Number 5, it's additional content. Now, that may not be enough reason for some people, but in my opinion, more content is good. This is not a game I think you should be spending 40 hours playing, obviously, but it is nice to have a constant stream of content and additional content. In the JP timeline right now, there is 1 event a week. So at some point, we'll probably get that same thing. 1 event a week. Now, this is not a game that has really a lot of daily upkeep. If there is not an event, I go on, do my free draw, do my daily hunt, get my daily rewards, and that's it. And that takes all of, I'm going to do it here while I'm talking to you. That takes all of 2 minutes. And I don't have to do that. I'm not actually missing out on a lot of stuff if I just not do that at all. I do think it's good to do it. So you're logging in a couple minutes a day and that's done. Now, there's some other mobile games I play and games that I have played over the years. There's one game that I've been playing for about 6 months. This game currently has, I believe, 4 PvP modes that are ongoing every day. You got to compete in these 4 different, very different PvP modes. Every week, there are at least 2 ongoing kind of events. And every day there's a number of different things you have to do, daily missions you have to do, there's different quests you have to do, different things you can do. So you can spend a lot of time doing the game. There's also things throughout the day that happen at various different times. So, if I wanted to, I could log on first thing in the morning, I could log on 8 o'clock, there's things to do, 9 o'clock, there's things to do, 11 o'clock, there's things to do, 12:30, there's things to do, then 2 o'clock, there's things to do, 5 o'clock, there's things to do, and then before I go to bed, there's things to do. So, it's a game that's encouraging you. You don't have to do all that. You can play how you want to play. But it's a game that is encouraging you to check in frequently, to do those things frequently. DFFOO really isn't that game, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with limited content. I'm okay with a game that's not taking up a huge amount of my time. That's why I play mobile games, because I don't have time to sit down and play it for 3-4 hours. And I'm okay with taking my time for an event over a week. But I also like the idea of more content, additional content, if I do want to play the game. And Dare to Defy fills that gap. Not something you have to do immediately, something you can build, you can wait on. It's something you can take your time in. It's something additional for you. I think the challenge quests are the same thing. They're additional things you can do. Additional content is good. So number 5, it's additional content. Number 4, it's challenging content. When you have lockout content that restricts friend units, that you have to use different, in this last month's Dare to Defy, 21 characters. That's challenging content. To take the most difficult content, the most difficult fights, and say you can't bring a friend unit and you can't reuse your meta, that's challenging content. And in this game, challenging content rewards veteran. And so there's people who have been playing this game for years that want a challenge. And again, you can talk about the proverbial new player. I think that's all kinds of fallacies wrapped into one. Get off that boat. Because here's the thing. In this game, a new player can max out Lunafreya just like I can. They can't max out as many characters as I have because I've been playing longer, but a new player starts today, they're going to be able to max out 2-3 characters right away and potentially beat Shinryu content fairly quickly. Like, we've seen this in new players that we've actually engaged in. There's no proverbial new players in our relationships with the community. We've met and known and cultivated new players over these last 5 years. And so, yeah, they can get pretty good. And there's no difference between my Lunafreya and their Lunafreya if they max them out. Now, in the other game I play, there's a huge difference between my top tier characters and pretty much anybody else's top tier characters, and especially my top tier characters and somebody who's just starting out, for a number of different reasons. DFFOO's not like that. So to have content that utilizes a complete roster, a bigger roster, rewards veteran players. It's also more challenging, which intrigues veteran players. I mean, this last month, the community's been buzzing. Yes, there's been a lot of negative, but our Discord, which does include a lot of veteran players, we're really stoked about Dare to Defy. Good thing. That's number 4, it's challenging content. Number 3, it brings characters off the bench. I think this is a really good thing because all too often, when I'm playing content like this month, I'm probably going to use similar characters on most of the content. Now, you can always say, yeah, hey, well, you don't have to, but why make it harder than it has to be? When you have content that says, hey, you can't use characters over and over again, you have to go into your bench. You have to get the second string and kind of look and see who's available. Who can I, maximize my ultimate weapons? Who haven't I used in a while? And often I find in this kind of content, I go back to characters that I'm like, oh, I really like this character, or oh man, I forget how powerful this character is, or I forget how good this gimmick is. It brings characters off the bench, and for me, that's really fun content. It's number 3, it brings characters off the bench. Number 2, it allows you to reconsider skips. So let's take this month. No Dare to Defy. I'm pulling Lunafreya, she's bonkers, she's broken. I'm pulling Core, I like him, he's really powerful. I might throw some tickets here and there, but pretty much everybody else is a skip. Last month was kind of the same situation, but Dare to Defy comes, and then I start looking at these characters closer. Could I use another FR that does this? Could I use another character that does this? Do I need some more support? Hey, Yuri's coming, kind of a jack of all trades, pretty powerful BT effect. Do I need another support to get these 7 teams up and running? Again, it's not forcing you to pull. It's not forcing you to pull at all. It really isn't. I mean, that's again, those are kind of, that's a fallacy because people completed it without pulling. But it does allow you to reconsider characters you were possibly going to skip, to give them a second chance, a second look, and I think that's really helpful. So those are the top 4 reasons. It's additional content, it's challenging content, it brings characters off the bench, it allows you to reconsider skips. But here's 5 things that the community has said, this is why we don't like D2D. This is why we don't want more Dare to Defy. First, I don't like it. Like I've heard that said by multiple people, content creators. I don't like it. Okay, for me, that's not a real good argument for why something shouldn't come back. I don't personally like it. It ain't about you, right? If there's a lot of people who do like something, I don't like licorice ice cream. But if my local ice cream store sells a lot of licorice ice cream to the point where it's profitable, I'm not going to go in and say, hey, stop serving licorice ice cream. Doesn't make any sense. It's not a good argument. I don't like it. You don't have to like it. That doesn't mean you should deny other people who do like it. Another one, the rewards aren't worth it. I got news for you, friend. That's true of every content in this game. None of the rewards are worth it. If it comes to pulling, we'll talk more about that. The rewards are extra. Hear that. It's not about whether they're worth it or not. They're extra. And they were decent rewards. And if they were amazing rewards, here's the other thing. If they were amazing rewards, the same people who are complaining that the rewards aren't worth it would say the rewards are too good. And they're benefiting the people who do this. You can't win for losing sometimes. So take that away from Squex. You're going to complain one way or the other. The rewards are appropriate. I truly believe. They're not too overpowered that they're giving anybody an edge. This isn't a PvP game, so who cares? And second, they're not cheap enough. They're not worthless enough that they're not worth doing it. They were decent rewards. The third one I hear is it's lazy content. Lockouts are bad. It's lazy content. You know, they're just cutting and pasting content. Yeah, it's not a very popular game, folks, which means there's not a huge staff, which means there's not a lot of money to make new inventive content because you don't invest in it. And there's not a lot of ways to invest in the game, very truthfully. I'm constantly saying they need more ways to make us want to spend money on the game. But this is a generous gotcha. And people get this thing in their head that, you know, well, it's just lazy content. Yeah, it's kind of cookie cutter content. They take one thing and repackage it in another way. That's smart content in my head, because why work harder for something that people are going to complain about anyway? Because if it was different content, you'd still complain about it. Very likely, quite a few people would. People complained about Crevasse. People complained about Abyss. People complain about everything. People complain about Shinryu. People complained about Lufania. People complained about Chaos. I've been around a long time. People are always complaining about stuff. Yes, it's not the most complex, different content, but it's additional content. Whether it's lazy or not, it's not. They took time to do it. They didn't have to. They didn't do it this month. In my retrospect, in my understanding, not lazy. Another one, I don't like doing the same fight over and over and over again. Well, so don't. First of all, don't. Second of all, use different teams, right? I mean, that's what I did. I used one team to complete the Shinryu. I used another team to do Dare to Defy. I get it. Some people are like, oh, I'd rather do this fight once and get all the rewards. Then do it once. Dare to Defy is additional content. So take it as additional content. And finally, it forces you to pull. And that's just a complete fallacy because people did it without pulling. People did it without FRs. You can beat content if you're really good. I think it helps you reconsider whether you should pull or not. A lot of people have a lot of resources in this game. I've never played any gacha game where so many people have so many resources just sitting around. And that's a good thing. That's one of the top 5 reasons I think this game is great. But it's not forcing you to pull. You don't have to ever touch the pull button. You make that decision. Those are some reasons I heard against it. I think most of them are fallacies. I think most of them are kind of scapegoat answers. It's okay if you don't like something, say I don't like it. Or it's too hard for me. I'm not going to do it. Don't do it. It's okay. Not every content is for every person. What's the number one reason, in my opinion, that we should bring back Dare to Defy? Because it very likely made DFFOO money. Now, it's going to be hard to prove that. They have analytics that I'll never know, that you'll never know. But if there was no Dare to Defy last month, I find it very hard to believe that they would have made less money. I believe because they added Dare to Defy last month, they made more money. The game made more money than it would have if without it. I believe this month, you got Lunafreya, you got Core, so people are hyped to pull anyway. I think if they added Dare to Defy, they probably would make more money. And they're going to be looking at this. They're going to be doing those analytics. So they'll figure that kind of stuff out. But the game cannot exist without income. That's why we support it. That's why I support it. That's why I have the premium Moogle Pass. That's why I buy probably at least a costume a month. If they added Dare to Defy this month, I probably would have considered buying an armor token pack or a BT token pack to have more of those characters. Now that they don't, I'm not going to. I'm not going to spend money because the game's not going in the direction that I want it to do. That's the power of the money as the entrepreneur, as the client, as the customer. I can speak with my money. Last month, I wanted to support the game. I thought it was going in a good direction. This month, I'm not so impressed. If it keeps going like this, it's going to be a garbage time. It's going to be the same stuff over and over again, and you're going to see us lose interest in the game again. At the end of the day, that's why I think Dare to Defy is a real good thing. Because it's got more interest in the game, making the game more money. It's going to keep this game that we love going longer. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be respectful, be nice. And remember, at the end of the day, it's just a game. We all have lives. We can go about our business. We can have fun despite our differences. I really, really do think Squex, bring back Dare to Defy. More content like this. It's easy on your part. It's good for the community, and it makes us all much better. So until next time, until our next podcast, friends, good luck on all your pulls. Good luck on all your fights, and we'll see you next Thursday.